Hi everybody and welcome to another edition of the Quarter Racing Update here at Remington Park. I'm Dale Day. We've got a good show for you as we say goodbye to April and hello to May. Jockey Ricky Ramirez will be along with us here in a few moments to talk about his season and a big racing win not on horseback last week to wrap up the month of April. We'll also have another edition of History's Fastest Athletes. A special segment today, Danielle Bryan. Many times here with us live. Not today. She'll join us via Skype, and we'll talk spa with Danielle, horse spas, as she'll explain some special therapy for horses going on here at Remington Park. We'll also preview the big stakes race coming up this weekend, the $100,000 Sooner State Stakes. That one restricted to the top older Oklahoma breds, and that's the feature on Saturday night. And we need to remind you that special post times this week, 6 o'clock tonight, Thursday, 6 o'clock on Friday, May 3rd. On Saturday, May 4th, simulcast of the Kentucky Derby. Remington Park will start a little bit early on Saturday at 5 p.m., 1 hour early. The Kentucky Derby simulcast goes at 5:24. Then that Sooner State Stakes much later in the card that night for the Oklahoma breds at a $100,000 purse. And we'll also take a look at Sunday racing, of course, at 1:30. Right now, though, we mentioned April's gone, but we ended it with a huge bang. One of the largest crowds in Remington Park history was here on Sunday, April 28th, over 26,000 in attendance for Extreme Racing Day. We had 11 races on the track, all at different distances from long to short. And we also had flying pig races on the plaza, ostrich races on the track, zebra races for the first time ever, and camel racing. Extreme Racing Sunday, presented by the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association, was a huge success to say the least.
A huge turnout at Remington Park for Extreme Racing Day on Sunday, April 28th, all enjoying the weather and the many species competing on the racetrack. The first of the extreme events, a 110-yard ostrich race, when if you get beaten by a neck, you're not that close. They don't fly, but they can run pretty fast. Watch the 5-bird on the outside, Beaker. He and jockey Ricky Ramirez open up on their feathery rivals to win this one going away. Ramirez and family celebrating his victory in the Remington Winners Circle. And as well, many of the younger fans getting their first looks of horses up close and personal. But there was also drama with the dromedaries in the Extreme Camel Race. Pre-race smack talk among the riders led to some sore feelings, but so does getting on one of these animals. RPTV's Chris Katulak, trainers Kevin Willis and Luis Villafranco, and jockey G.R. Carter were the riders in the one-hump handicap. Katulak and Humphrey Bogart broke alertly, established an early lead, and went on to win by 2. G.R. Carter paying homage to the jubilant winners, Humphrey Bogart and Chris Katulak. Now, as this is a horse racing show, the main event of Extreme Racing Day for us involved the little referees, zebras, in the Racing Stripe Handicap. And when the gates flew open, it was pure mayhem on the racetrack. They thought the winner was whoever lost their jockey first. But eventually winning the race was Little Bling Bling with Cody Wainscott hanging on. Another Extreme Racing Day in the books. Congrats and thanks to the major sponsor, Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association, for putting on another extremely entertaining event.
Extreme Racing Sunday presented by the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association. We've done that now for 4 years here at Remington Park. It gets bigger and better every year. This year the zebras were added, and as you could see, they basically, as soon as they left the starting gate, for the most part, wanted to buck the jockeys off their back. One was successful, but Cody Wainscott winning that race, pretty interesting. But a huge crowd, over 26,000 in attendance. The second largest crowd in Remington Park's 25-year history. It was on April 28th. Here on Extreme Racing Sunday. Now, a good crowd expected, of course, coming up on Saturday, Kentucky Derby simulcast day, with our big feature race of the weekend later on in the card, the Sooner State Stakes, a $100,000 event at 400 yards for older Oklahoma breds, and there are some top runners in this race, some of which may make their way back possibly for the Remington Park Championship a bit later in the season. The feature race spotlight is brought to you by Oklahoma Equine Hospital. The field for the 2013 Sooner State Stakes is loaded with stakes winners. Here's a look at just a few Fast Prize Mike, winner of the Grade 2 350-yard East Stakes Handicap on opening weekend, March 10th. Trained by Steven Salazar, the 4-year-old won the Evangeline Derby Division 1 last November. Cody Jensen will have the running assignment coming up on Saturday evening for Fast Prize Mike in the Sooner State Stakes, breaking from post number 4. A 2-time stakes winner so far this season, Fast Prize Jordan, victorious in the 250-yard Mighty Deck 3 handicap on opening weekend. And then a couple of weeks after that, Fast Prize Jordan was able to stretch out his winning ways to 350 yards in the Mr. Jetmore Stakes on April 13th. G.R. Carter was aboard for both of those races, and he'll ride the 9-horse in the Sooner State Stakes coming up on tonight. Now from the SLM Big Daddy Stakes, this is You Can Call Mr. Earl, a half-length winner in that 550-yard SLM Big Daddy in late March. Looking to go 3 for 3 at the Sooner State Stakes distance of 400 yards. Trained by Clint Crawford, You Can Call Mr. Earl drew the starting gate's 6th position for Saturday's feature. Tony Bennett will have the call. Last year's winner of the Sooner State, a toss-up, in to defend his crown once again in 2013. Victorious in 3 major stakes races here a year ago, a toss-up has run 4th and 5th in added money races so far in 2013. David Pignon will have the call for trainer Eddie Willis. A toss-up will break from the 2-post in the Sooner State. Winner of the Oklahoma Horsemen's Association Mystery Futurity, Will Rogers Downs last year, the lightly raced Joker on Jack. After his score at the Claremore track, he prevailed in the Hialeah Laddie Futurity in December. Trained by Alfredo Gomez, Joker on Jack will be ridden by Ricky Ramirez in the Sooner State. Look for them on the far outside, wearing number 10 on Saturday. The richest horse in Saturday's main event is Priceless Feature, shown here at Remington Park and known for his tallying the Grade 2 Heritage Place Derby a year ago. He followed that with a 2nd place finish to the Mighty Ochoa in the $900,000 Rainbow Derby last summer at Rio Dosa Downs. Jimmy Brooks will ride the Eddie Willis trainee. Priceless Feature drew the 8-hole for Saturday's Sooner State. The restricted Grade 1 Sooner State Stakes coming up on Saturday evening. Brought to you once again by Oklahoma Equine Hospital, with rehabilitative facilities that include a cold saltwater spa and underwater treadmill. 2 locations just off I-35 at Oswald Road and at Ladd Road. Oklahoma Equine Hospital presenting the Sooner State Stakes preview for you. Now we'll talk with Ricky Ramirez, who rides Joker on Jack. He's coming up in just a moment. Stay with us for more here on the Quarter Racing Update.
Quarter Racing Update, Remington Park, is brought to you by the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association, Speed Horse Magazine, Juniors of Oklahoma City, by Racing Free, and by Oklahoma Equine Hospital.
An official representative for horsemen in the state, the OQHRA administers race, benevolence, and scholarship programs, all to better the state of racing in the state of Oklahoma. Visit OQHRA.com.
Speed Horse Magazine, the industry's most widely read and respected magazine. Complete coverage of quarter horse racing and industry events. Sponsor of the Speed Horse Race Series. Visit speedhorse.com.
Racing Free is dedicated to acknowledging and rewarding the great people in racing who are racing free. In an effort to eliminate the use of performance-enhancing drugs, Racing Free offers incentives for all industry participants. Visit racingfree.com.
Welcome back to the Quarter Racing Update here at Remington Park. I'm Dale Day, joined now by jockey Ricky Ramirez with us on our feature segment this week. And Ricky's having a very good season so far, coming into the weekend, approaching the 20-win mark. Ricky, talked about the season to this point. Is it where you wanted to be? Less, more, about right? For your expectations here, just past the halfway point?
Right now it's where I want to be. Kind of business picked up, and I've been winning races. It started out a little bit slow, but that's just business. And right now everything's going pretty good.
Now you ride first call for trainer Trey Wood here at Remington Park. Talk about that relationship. When did you first start riding for Trey Wood and the Wood family, and how that's gone for you here the last few years?
Well, I got to know him in 2007. I rode a little bit. I had second call. The beginning of 2008, got first call on the whole barn. So ever since then, we've been good friends. Me and Trey Wood, we're buddies. I mean, we are good friends. So everything, just we need to change what we got to do, and so far we've been successful at it, and hopefully continue to be successful.
Now, Trey brought a lot of stock with him here, a lot of horses to race at Remington Park this season. Seemed like the season started a little bit slow, but that barn, especially for you, has been very hot the last few weeks.
Yeah, it started a little slow. You know, after Lone Star in the fall, we turned them out, let them get a rest, you know, freshen up. And, you know, when we got back up here, the horses were, you know, they were rested up, so we kind of had them getting fit again. And I guess they're fit now, and now they're starting to perform.
Okay, now I'm going to throw the curveball at you. We ride in the Sooner State Stakes on Saturday night with Joker on Jack, a horse you've not been on. But the horse has a little talent. Won the Hialeah Futurity in his last start of 2012, but this is his first start of this season facing Oklahoma breds, but there's some stout runners in here.
Yeah, you know, the horse, like I got on him the other day in the morning. Alfredo Gomez hauled him in, and I got on him, and I liked the horse, and he gave me the opportunity to ride him. He's coming off a big layoff, so it'll be his first race, you know, going 400 yards, I believe, and hopefully he can hold the distance and, you know, win the race. I like his post position being on the outside, so I ain't got to worry about nobody, you know, running me over or whatever, so I think he'll have a shot.
I was going to ask you about being on the outside number 10, even though he's off the layoff. That's a preferred spot for just a stakes race or overall in every race because you only have horses to the inside?
I'm a big fan of being on the outside.
Okay.
You know, because you eliminate having two horses on each side. I mean, one horse on each side, so that's a big plus. And the outside's been good here at this racetrack. You know, pretty much the whole track's pretty even, but I'm a fan of the outside.
Okay. Everybody tends to conquer that or look at that a little bit differently, but you would think with no traffic to one side you prefer it. Now, the negative, of course, is if your horse decides there's a lot of room to my right, I'm going to break out to the outside rail.
Yes, that can happen. It's happened to me before. You know, the outside has got me beat, you know, because of that. Sometimes they try to break out. But most of the times as a rider, you kind of try to expect it and be ready for it so it won't happen.
And try to keep them with the rest of the herd as you come down to 400 yards. All right, now you're having a good season on horseback, but you need to brag a little bit. You're doing pretty well on another type of back, a feathery back. You won the ostrich race on Extreme Racing Sunday, not for the first time, but for the second year in a row. Talk about that experience a little bit, because it's 110 yards. You're used to riding horses, but that's completely different.
Yeah, you know, like you said, experience. The first time I rode an ostrich race was at Lone Star Park. I didn't make the finish line. I went about 30, 40 yards, fell off. But then I got the opportunity to ride one last year, and, you know, I kind of knew a little bit more how to hold on, and I win last year and win it this year, so it was fun.
Now, there's no saddle. You just kind of get on their back somehow or another. What are you hanging onto their neck or right around just above their wings? I mean, how do you balance and control, if there is control, on an ostrich?
Well, they got a little pad, you know, probably the size of a plate, and it has two deals so you can hold on, and kind of two handles, and it's wrapped around their wings. So that's pretty much it. Just kind of hold on and kind of balance yourself from not going too far forward and not too far back. So, you know, like I said, that was the third time I got to ride one, so I think the experience helped me.
Now, we saw the zebra races earlier. Those little guys came out of the gates, and almost every one of them started to buck or try to get rid of the jockeys. The ostriches don't really buck, but they can throw you by just staggering their steps and maybe taking a side step or a twirl.
Yes, sir. You know, it's kind of like sitting on a ball. You know, they're just perfectly round, so you got to stay right in the middle of it, because any direction you'll just roll right off.
Now, yours was not the ostrich that ran off and ran away, was it?
I believe it was.
It was it? Okay.
It was.
Well, see, that's a good sign. You had the one that wanted to run.
Yeah. That's very true.
He almost made it over the railing to go to the zoo, but it's really a lot of fun. And so, is there bragging rights in the room? I mean, the guys that get to ride these races with the different animals is a big deal?
When I went in there into the jockey room, I kind of bragged about it. You know, I told them I was the ostrich champion, so, you know, now they want to beat me on it. I was really, really wanting to ride a zebra, but we kind of put our names in a hat and try to draw for it, picked. So next year I'm going to try for the zebra. Hopefully I can win the zebra race.
After what I saw, I would just stay away from the zebras. I think the zebras know what they want to do, and it's not run with someone on their back very far. There's a reason they're not domesticated, supposedly.
Yes.
I mean, these zebras did fairly well, though. You know, but one guy, I can't remember who fell off, but somebody fell off.
As far as the camels, I was happy Chris Couture, when he's been trying to beat GR for years, and he finally beat GR, so that was pretty fun.
He got it done. If that race was 200 yards, it might have been a different story. He said his legs were getting a little tired by the way they have to sit on that camel hump.
He was bouncing all over it, but he got there.
It looks like a lot of work, but everybody stayed on, and no one fell off to the side. The very first year, I don't remember this. I know you weren't in the ostrich race, but we had some media celebrities out here. And as soon as they left the starting gate, the camels shimmied and they all slid off to the side. One guy made it across the finish, but literally he's hanging sideways off the horse. All right, goals for the rest of this season. There's about 20 days to go. We still have the big set of Heritage Futurity trials coming up for both the Futurity, the $1 million race, and the Derby worth over $250,000. Talk about your possibilities with the Wood Barn in those races or other trainers that you might be working with.
You know, I hope we could win it again this year. You know, that's one of our main goals at this racetrack. You know, winning the prestigious Heritage Place Futurity. You know, we got 5 head going into it. 6, I'm sorry. We got 6 horses going into it for Trey Wood, and that's my main goal. You know, qualify one for Trey. That's my main barn. So hopefully we can get it done. And BP Cartel's Alibi, the winner of last year's Futurity, he'll be in the Derby. Hopefully he'll put it together and qualify for the Derby.
Well, I was going to get to that. I mean, everybody remembers his win in the Heritage last year. Then he went on and he did really well over the course of the summer and then through the rest of the year for the most part. He's had 2 starts this spring, but he hasn't seemed to do what everybody, including most handicappers, think he's going to do, which is blast out of there and repeat his performance as a 2-year-old here in the Heritage Place.
Yeah, we got big expectations, you know, because he did win the Heritage. But, you know, we're just trying to figure him out. For some reason, you know, he doesn't want to give us his race like he can. He's doing good, training good. You know, we gave him an out the other day in that stakes race for Oklahoma Breds, and he run good 4th. So hopefully that set him up perfect for the trials, and, you know, cross our fingers and hope he runs the best.
Well, maybe once the extra yardage will probably help him a little bit, too. I'm sure he's matured a little bit from 2 to 3.
Sure. And, you know, he likes the distance, so hopefully it'll help him a bunch.
All right, Ricky Ramirez, featured jockey this week, having a very good season. He's approaching the 20-win mark. He's the Ostrich champion 2 years in a row and getting set for those big Heritage Place Futurity trials coming up next week on Mother's Day weekend as we have 2 nights of trials for that $1 million event that takes place on Saturday, June 1st. More coming up here in a moment here on the Quarter Racing Update.
38 race days this summer at Fair Meadows at Tulsa beginning June 8th and running through August 2nd. The crown jewels of the meet, the Grade 2 Speed Horse Futurity and Grade 3 Derby. Trials for the 2 will be run July 19th with the finals on August 2nd. Last year in the Futurity, it was high-class vodka prevailing over a nice group of 2-year-olds with Stormy Smith in the irons. Fair Meadows at Tulsa kicks off June 8th.
Speed Horse Magazine, the industry's most widely read and respected magazine. Complete coverage of quarter horse racing and industry events. Sponsor of the Speed Horse Race Series. Visit speedhorse.com.
An official representative for horsemen in the state, the OQHRA administers race, benevolence, and scholarship programs, all to better the state of racing in the state of Oklahoma. Visit OQHRA.com.
Somewhere there's music, I'll faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. There is no moon above when love's far away too. Till it comes true that you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music, I'm near and far.
Welcome back to the Quarter Racing Update. Fortunately, there's always something new to aid in the care of equine athletes. Daniel Bryan joins us via Skype from Lano, Texas, to tell us a little more about the latest in horse rehab and injury prevention.
Dale, as the monetary and sentimental value of racehorses increase to their owner, so grows the value of keeping them healthy and happy. One new product available to horsemen at Remington Park gives equine athletes the spa treatment, literally. Located in Remington Stable area, the Nautilus Equine Saltwater Spa helps in the injuries and disease. While there's another spa on the market, the Nautilus stands apart because of its hot water feature, and it's made in the USA. Cold water therapy has been used for years to treat injuries, but the hot water feature with this unit offers prevention therapy to decrease the likelihood of future injuries.
We keep the cold water about 36 degrees and the hot water is about 114 degrees. And if we're dealing with just an injury, inflammation, we'll use cold water, but from a preventative maintenance standpoint, we'll use the hot water alternating with cold water. It's been very effective.
After the first visit or two, most horses become comfortable with the spa treatment. Some play a bit by splashing water with their noses, Others get so comfortable they may even catch a nap while in the spa. The placement of the spa at Remington Park was arranged in conjunction with Oklahoma Equine Hospital, owner of 2 Nautilus units. According to Williams, a former trainer himself, after considering the traditional options for saltwater treatment, racing professionals are embracing this new form of rehab and injury prevention.
I've trained reining horses for about 25 years, and I've learned no matter what saddle they wear, whether it's a Western saddle or an English saddle or a racehorse saddle, these horses suffer from the same distal limb injuries, soft tissue injuries, suspensory ligaments, joint disease, navicular disease. The standard that the racehorse industry or the show horse industry goes by anymore to be competitive is just incredibly high standard. And I think we need to step up our preventative maintenance therapies to equal that standard.
Like many equine treatments and products, this idea came from human athletes. But I'm on board, Dale. What's good for them is good for our equine heroes, too.
I couldn't agree with you more, Danielle. Danielle Bryan via Skype from Llano, Texas. Stay with us for more. In a bit, we'll have another edition of History's Fastest Athletes here on the Quarter Racing Update.
Quarter Racing Update Remington Park is brought to you by the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association, Speed Horse Magazine, Juniors of Oklahoma City, by Racing Free, and by Oklahoma Equine Hospital.
Somewhere there's music, how faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. There is no moon above when love's far away till it comes true. That you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music, how near and far.
An official representative for horsemen in the state, the OQHRA administers race, benevolence, and scholarship programs, all to better the state of racing in the state of Oklahoma. Visit OQHRA.com.
A life cut far too short, but before it was over, many thought they had seen the fastest horse ever. Brigand Silk was born in 1983, a son of Beduino and Dusty B. Lady by Alamitos Bar. He won 7 races from 7 starts for his owner, Wichita Land and Cattle Company, all under the tutelage of Jack Doobie. Brigand Silk broke his maiden at Maynard Downs, and then he was off to Ruidoso with an eye on the prize. He won his trial for the Rainbow Futurity in track record time of 19.52 seconds. In the Rainbow Final, Brigand Silk squared off with 6 a run and 6 put 2 lengths on the field while breaking his own record at 400 yards, 19.37 seconds, a record that would stand at Ruidoso for several years. Even before the trials, Brigand Silk was picked by many as the early favorite for the All-American. In his first trial for the race, under a stranglehold by Jackie Martin, the colt powered through to a daylight victory. The very next week, Brigand Silk colicked and died. He was buried in the Ruidoso Downs infield. Later, he was named Champion 2-Year-Old Colt and Champion 2-Year-Old by the AQHA. A career and life cut tragically short, but Brigand Silk will always be known as one of history's fastest athletes. History's Fastest Athletes is sponsored by and produced in conjunction with Speed Horse Magazine.
Speed Horse Magazine, the industry's most widely read and respected magazine. Complete coverage of quarter horse racing and industry events. Sponsor of the Speed Horse Race Series. Visit speedhorse.com.
Welcome back to the Quarter Racing Update as we get set to wrap up this week's edition and the first edition for the month of May. There's a great thing happening in about 2 weeks here at Remington Park. It's the annual Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association Racing Experience. It takes place on May 19th here at Remington Park. Again, brought to you by the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association, hosting the Regional Racing Experience. You get the chance to get an up-close and personal experience with the inner workings of the racetrack. The event is open to youth between the ages of 16 and 18. Adults are welcome as well. Those who are interested in learning more about the quarter horse racing industry, welcome again to come out to the Quarter Racing Experience presented by the OQHRA. It's a full-day event. A lot is happening. Hands-on learning taking place. You get the behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to operate the racing stable. Get the glance at racetrack operations on that day, going behind the starting gate and learning about what activities take place to load the horses and get them set to go. It's an opportunity to meet with all of the racing officials and industry professionals as well. Get more information for the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association Racing Experience, or you can download an application for the May 19th Regional Racing Experience at OQHRA.com. It's a heavily attended event each and every year, but download that application and apply because it is limited to a certain number so they can make it worthwhile for those that do attend. But it's a very special morning and afternoon and leads to the races at night as well. Again, post time Thursday tonight, May 2nd, and Friday, May 3rd at Remington Park is at 6 p.m. We will be earlier on Saturday, May 4th. First race is at 5 p.m. It's Kentucky Derby simulcast Saturday. The simulcast of the Derby is at 5:24. So again, Remington Live at 5, Derby simulcast at 5:24. Then the normal Remington Park races after that, featuring the Sooner State Stakes a bit later on in the card. Sunday afternoon racing takes place normal time at 1:30 p.m. as we get into the month of May, and it heats up, of course. We hope it'll heat up. We're having the coolest spring we've ever had in Oklahoma, and that includes here at Remington Park. So we think it will heat up, but it definitely will on the racetrack as we get set for Heritage Place Futurity Derby trials and AQHA Challenge races coming up on Mother's Day weekend. For all involved, I'm Dale Day. Enjoy the racing weekend and have a winning one here at Remington Park, here on the Quarter Racing Update at Remington Park.
On next week's Quarter Racing Update, we'll look back at Saturday's $100,000 Sooner State Stakes. The Challenge Race Series is Sunday, May 12th. We'll preview those events, an important day of racing at Remington Park. Plus, our regular features, history's fastest athletes, and our Oklahoma Bred of the Week. All that and more on the Quarter Racing Update, Remington Park, next Thursday on RaceviewNetwork.com.